Representative Seth Berry making an announcement this morning saying a consumer-owned utility would not be financed by tax dollars and would lower Mainers' bills by 15%. Berry says the authority would borrow the money to buy the utilities using a state bond program, and customers would pay it back through their regular bills. The plan includes the creation of Maine Power, the consumer-owned utility that would buy out Emera Maine and Central Maine Power. We will have much more on this story straight ahead on News Center Maine at 5:30.
Federal workers back on the job today. The United States Department of Agriculture tweeting out how happy the workers were to be back on the job. According to the Congressional Budget Office, the federal government shutdown will cause slight permanent harm to the economy, about $3 billion in all. Well, we've been hearing about Tuesday night into Wednesday.
I know.
It's only Monday, but we've been hearing about it.
Do you think it's to the point where maybe kids are worried about school, teachers worried about school?
Yeah, what I'm noticing in the trending here is that every time there's a big storm, Keith doesn't show up. So Ryan's here, and he's going to help us out.
Well, as I'll tell you, he's actually down in Atlanta, where he's not going to escape winter weather.
It's finding him, yeah.
He might get stuck there, you know, because they're going to have some snow tomorrow.
Well, he'll expense it. It's fine.
Yeah, right. All the meals on the company, right? For us, winter storm warnings go up late tomorrow through Wednesday morning in southern and western Maine. Go a little later in the day in northern Maine. Winter weather advisories for the coast, where we'll see snow changing over to rain. It's a quick moving system, but it will come in at a bad time, impacting the Wednesday morning commute. Tonight, getting cold into the single digits in northern Maine, 14 in Bangor, 24 degrees in Portland right now. There has been some wind out there, but that will lighten up tonight as high pressure builds in. And then this is the system that's coming for late tomorrow into tomorrow night. So tonight, it's all about the cold. It's a calm night. Temperatures will dip into the single digits for many of us, below zero in northern Maine by tomorrow morning. So it's a cold start to the day. We'll have some sun in the morning, and then clouds start to move in during the middle of the day. And notice this here, that may be some very light snow, some ocean effect snow that develops along the coast tomorrow, but it's not really until tomorrow evening that we start to see anything steady or heavy develop. So it's a quick moving system, snow for all of us, some rain mixes in, but the Wednesday morning commute is going to be messy. We'll go through the full timeline and bring you the latest snow totals, all coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much, sir. All right, something that you might not even know it's in your home unless you go out of your way and you test for it. It is odorless, it's invisible, and it occurs naturally in the dirt right under our homes.
We're talking about radon, and in Maine, 12 out of the 16 counties report high levels of the radioactive gas. Tonight, there's a new push from the Maine CDC to check for levels where you live.
We're going to use 2 canisters, and they're going to be placed in the center of the lowest livable space, which in this case is this basement.
At a home inspection in Westbrook.
These are hangers from our company that we're going to put on the door to let folks know that the test is in progress.
Chris Sullivan is collecting air samples to send to a local lab. In 3 days, they'll be able to tell if there's any trace of an invisible and odorless gas in the air. Radon. There is no known safe level of radon, and it's blamed for roughly 21,000 lung cancer deaths every year in the United States, according to the EPA. Monday, this message from the director of the Maine CDC. I urge Mainers to test their home's air and water for radon and to retest every 3 to 5 years to make sure radon levels remain low.
You can't say, well, this was caused by some mistake, but the only mistake is that we live over soil which has radon in it.
Tom Hess is a professor of physics at the University of Maine-Orono. He's been researching radon since the 1970s.
The radon in air is going to come in through a couple of different ways. It can come from the building materials, which is a small amount, and come through the basement, through the cracks in the floor and everything, or it can come from water.
Hess says homeowners have options. Aeration systems can help if radon is detected in the water, but they're expensive. Activated carbon filters are another option.
Most people are interested in living as long as possible, and you don't want to have things that cause a big disease coming into your life.
So if you want to save a little money, you don't have to hire a professional. You can buy a radon test kit to use yourself. And testing is the only sure way to determine if there is radon in your home.
All right, this might not be a big shock to you guys, but too much screen time could be affecting normal childhood development. Canadian researchers looked at 2,400 kids when they were 2 and 3 years old. Those who spent much more time staring at the TV, tablets, or computer had lower scores on developmental screenings a few years later. The American Academy of Pediatrics suggests no more than 1 hour of screen time for kids between the ages of 2 and 5 years old. Some new statistics out today which show that more and more people are cutting the cord and moving away from traditional cable TV.
I'm not really surprised by that. According to the Waterstone Management Group, Netflix spent $13 billion on content last year. Amazon spent $5 billion, and Hulu gave subscribers access to $30 billion of content. The company surveyed 5,000 people in 43 states and found 59% of people have cut the cord, while another 29% are contemplating it. That only leaves 12% of people surveyed who are willing to stay 100% committed to cable TV.
This from Andrew Russell, the Director of Communication for Spectrum in the Northeast. He says Spectrum has made and continues to make substantial investments in our network to offer consumers in Maine the best TV viewing experience on multiple platforms inside and outside the home. Russell adds, as the video industry transitions with new services and options, Spectrum is best positioned to offer consumers the best combination of content and the best user experience across a variety of devices and platforms. Of note, of those people who were surveyed, most people said that even though they might be leaving their cable company for TV services, they do still get their internet service from their cable provider.
Exactly.
So,
that is key right there.
You got to have that or else nothing else will matter.
Exactly. So. Okay. I saw this over the weekend. I had to watch it a bazillion times, it seemed, because I didn't think I was watching something actually happening in real life. A shocking case of road rage caught on camera in Massachusetts.
And we're going to let you know what you can do to stop tax identity theft. 'Tis the season. We'll have the answers for you coming up a little bit later on in our show.
Seriously got sucked in. If you guys have seen that video, our partners at NBC 10, NBC Boston, they, someone on the Mass Pike captured video of a guy hanging onto the hood of a car while the car was going 75 miles per hour and then slower, and it was in rush hour, the rush hour commute, and it all started over a minor wreck, like a fender bender, and then there was road rage from it, and both were charged, I believe.
And I saw them, they were both interviewed actually about it, and then they were both in court today together. So
just, I mean,
if you've seen it, then you're going to want to see it again. If you haven't seen it, you definitely want to check this out.
It's amazing no one was hurt. Seriously hurt.
All right, what do we got?
So just a little update on Friday. I told you guys that those police officers that went viral for singing God Bless America, like carpool karaoke style, I got to meet them because they opened the event that I emceed on Friday night. They gave me the biggest goosebumps. Their voices are absolutely incredible. So good.
Snow totals are coming from Ryan in just a little bit. And yes, Lindsay, your story was awesome today about radon, very important issue. There's a lot of people, hopefully they take it seriously. I know not everybody decides that if they're going to buy a house, they might say, you know what, we're not going to test for radon, no big deal, but you should definitely do it because you want to know what's in your house, especially if you have children or either way.
As of 2014, landlords in Maine are actually required to test, and then they have to share the results of those radon tests with their tenants of every building they own, of every residence they own.
Like if you're 70 years old and the car's going, if you're 65, going for 3 miles and you hold on, that's impressive. I'm sorry.
Right?
It's messed up.
I was impressed. And then when he tried to call 911 while holding on with the other hand, that was crazy.
He's not even a millennial.
No, he's not. Jeff, thank you. I was just turning around to get that.
Okay.
I know, that's so true. That's so true. It's not second nature for him. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm such a diva. Don't look at me like that.
I didn't say anything. Don't look at me in that tone of voice.
Yeah, exactly. How do you want to split this up? Is this split up? Yeah.
I think we're good.
Okay. I just can't see. A wild piece of video caught on camera in Massachusetts. Authorities there say that this started over a minor car wreck and then it turned into so much more.
Yeah, it escalated really, really quickly. It's amazing that nobody was killed in this. Check it out.
On the busy Mass Pike, a highway altercation escalating into one wild ride. An apparent case of road rage, leaving a man holding on for dear life in the middle of rush hour.
Just survival mode.
Authorities say the incident started Friday when 37-year-old Mark Fitzgerald and 65-year-old Richard Kamrowski got into a minor collision on Interstate 90 in Massachusetts. According to police, Kamrowski attempted to exchange paperwork with Fitzgerald, who remained in his SUV, but tempers flared.
He took my water bottle out of my car. He smashed my window.
Officers say Fitzgerald drove at Kamrowski, who jumped on the hood. Then Fitzgerald stepped on the gas, at times reaching speeds up to 70 miles an hour. Stunned motorists tried to keep their eyes on the road as Fitzgerald sped by, with Kamrowski clinging to the car.
He kept going fast, slow, tried to get me to slide off. I wasn't getting off the car.
3 miles later, a group of drivers teamed up to stop the SUV. One of them pulled out a gun, ordering Fitzgerald out of the car. The state troopers rushed to the scene. This morning, Fitzgerald faces multiple criminal charges, including assault with a dangerous weapon and negligent operation of a vehicle.
I gotta go to court.
Kamrowski is charged with disorderly conduct. Although an extreme example, road rage is something the vast majority of drivers experience. One 2016 study found nearly 80% of drivers expressed significant anger or aggression behind the wheel. But it rarely turns into this. This morning, both men prepare to face a judge after a wild ride that could have had deadly consequences.
I mean, it's spectacular video as far as like it captivates your attention, right? Where you're just like, oh my gosh, and how did he not fall off?
Right.
And thank goodness he didn't, because the guy who's already charged with about 30 things could have been a lot worse.
I know, and I know there were a group of other drivers that kind of were able to, they took action and they got the driver to the side of the road.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I would have acted in that situation.
Well, nobody got hurt, which is amazing. So
exactly.
It makes for a much better story because at least nobody's dead.
Exactly,
so,
exactly.
There you go.
All right, we're going to take a break, but coming up, we're going to hear from an expert on what to do so you can avoid tax identity theft.
He's also here in our studio, so if you have any questions, let him know on our Facebook page. Also, a lot of you are asking about snow totals for Wednesday. Ryan says he's not going to tell us. No, I'm just kidding. He's going to tell us. It's coming up next.
Sorry, I saw the and I thought, oh, that's part two.
I got it.
Sorry.
It's okay. Just do half the job. Fine. Pick it up where she left off, folks. Picking right up.
The struggle bus.
From your exhausting 2-day work week last week. You okay?
Yes.
Surprised you showed up today.
I know,
we
guys.
We're all expecting you to call in sick.
The struggle is real. The struggle is real. Wait, I do want to ask you guys about something. So,
can you hear me?
I read an article today that talks about how millennials glorify the work hustle.
So you can put that in your pocket.
Like,
He's got a mic. He's mic'd
my
up.
generation, I don't know how else to say it.
Can you count to 10
basically
for me?
like lives to work instead of works to live. Does that make sense? It's just interesting.
Yeah.
I want to know what you guys
9,
think about
8,
that.
7, 6, 5, 4,
It was, I think it was in the New York Times I read that. So obviously what the New York Times creates isn't always a direct picture of what's happening here in Maine.
Yeah, I'm on 7. Tell her I'm on 7 and my mic's
Amanda says that man should never be allowed to have a license ever again. Too dangerous to exchange insurance and then get. Where'd you go? There you go. Get it over with. Hope you face jail time. Person behind the wheel, so dangerous, so deadly. Shame on him.
Wow.
So yeah, we do have an expert, tax expert in the house right now who's going to be taking your questions on Facebook. Cameron O'Brien's going to be chatting with him in just a minute. So today's the first day that people have been able to actually get their stuff seen by somebody since the government shutdown.
Sure.
A lot of people have been in line. They filled out all their stuff, and they've just been waiting for the day where you can actually submit it.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that the government servers haven't crashed today, because I know a lot of people, especially those who are getting money back, want to file on the first day possible because you want to get your money back. So,
yeah.
I'm sure that there was an onslaught of entries today.
Sure.
So. Anyway, ask your questions and we'll get them answered for you.
Heidi also says, I just saw something about how people don't know how to protect their info from identity theft because their tax preparer didn't take the right precautions. How can we be sure that accountants that we hire will be taking the right steps to protect our identities?
Will I be able to take, can I take one of the...
Yeah, do you want this one?
So I can see the questions?
And I just pinned...
That's the one, yeah.
We only do one at a time. So I pinned that one, and then if another one comes, I'll unpin it and give you another one at the time. Do you need that?
Sure, just in case. You know.
All right, today is the first full day of business for the IRS since the government shut down, and that means for the first time in over a month, they've been able to process and respond to tax returns.
It's also Tax Identity Theft Awareness Week, so we wanted to know how can we keep our important information safe during tax filing season. Cam O'Brien's here with some ideas. Hey, Cam.
Hey, guys. Tax identity theft is pretty common and left undiscovered can really wreak havoc on someone's financial capital. I spoke with Corey Vargo. He's a CPA from Whipfleet in South Portland about all things tax identity theft, and he'll be on air after this story to answer any questions you might have. So drop your queries now in the comments section of our Facebook Live.
Tax identity theft. It's when someone files a fraudulent tax return under a stolen social security number. But how do you even know when it happens?
That generally comes to light when you go ahead and file your tax return and you get a response from the IRS, or your tax return preparer gets a response from the IRS that says, hey, you already filed a return this year. You can also come to know about it if you get a notice in the mail that you didn't pay tax on income from a company you never worked for.
So how do the scammers do it? They use your stolen social security number or bank account and will report a fake income on a fraudulent return to the IRS.
They're really just going to put numbers on a form, and the IRS's automated process will spit out a refund, and they'll mail it to the address that they put on that fake tax return. So really, they're trying to suck your refund away from you.
Corey Vargo says the scammers often work through phone or email. So if someone calls you or shoots you an email claiming that they're the IRS or asking for your personal information, hang up.
The IRS will never request data like that from you in that fashion. You'll never get an email asking for your information from the IRS, and they will never give you an unsolicited call asking for payment information, your social security number, or other personally identifiable information.
So, as promised, I have Corey Vargo with me, CPA, the star of the show. So we've actually got a question for you, and it's from Heidi. Heidi says, I saw something about how people don't know how to protect their info from identity theft because their tax preparer didn't take the right precautions. How can we make sure that the accountants we hire are taking the right steps to protect our identities?
Yeah, that's an important responsibility for a CPA, and I think you want to ask the question to make sure that they have steps that they take to protect your information, but also what you should do is make sure that when you're sending sensitive data to your CPA, that you do that in a secure fashion. If you're not handing paper documents, you need to be sending files encrypted, and your CPA should have a service to help you do that.
Awesome. And then Anita asks, what should you do if you think that you're a victim of tax fraud? So if you got, say, that letter in the mail where it says, hey, you know, you've already submitted your refund, what are the steps that you take after that?
Yeah, so the IRS recommends the first step you take is to report to the FTC that your identity has been stolen. From there, you want to make sure you can file your taxes. So the IRS has steps that you can take on their website to go ahead and file your return. A little bit different than you normally would, but beyond that, report to one of the credit bureau agencies that there's been some fraud.
And then a question that I have is, these scammers, you said they use phone, they use email, but they also use things like iTunes gift cards. They're kind of all over the place in their strategies.
That's right. Yeah, so if you get a phone call from someone pretending to be an IRS agent or someone who says they're an IRS agent, Be skeptical from the very start, and if anyone ever asks you to pay your taxes using a gift card of any kind, or if anyone comes to you other than through a letter from the IRS asking you to pay cash, gift card, anything like that, asking for your bank information, be very skeptical.
Awesome. So we will have Corey at our Facebook Live in the break. So make sure if you have any questions, write them down. But that's all we got for you for now. Back to you, Lee and Lindsay.
All right, I've got a few questions right now, so we'll get to him in just a little bit. Thank you very much. I also have a question, like a lot of you on our Facebook Live feed, about what's up with the snow, how much, when, where, what. Rhino, come on.
All right, I got my work cut out for me, huh? Hey, Keith is down in Atlanta, and they're going to get some snow. We're calling it south for 6, but it's actually south for snow tomorrow. There might be a coating to an inch in Atlanta, which is enough to cause problems for them. Winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings in effect, and the same system, part of it, will be impacting us tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. Winter storm warnings up until midday Wednesday in southern and western Maine, until later in the day in northern Maine. Winter weather advisories for the coast. That's where we'll have snow changing over to rain Wednesday morning. Tonight it is getting cold out there though. 14 in Bangor, 20 in Rockland and Wiscasset, 25 degrees in Sanford right now. There is a bit of wind that makes it feel more like the single digits in Lewiston and Augusta, below 0 from Bangor into northern Maine right now. The sky is mostly clear, a couple of clouds in southern Maine. Tonight's quiet, it's just cold. Tomorrow we'll start with a little bit of sun, and then this is the storm that comes in late in the day tomorrow into Wednesday morning. It's a quick hitting storm, but it will be hitting at a bad time for the Wednesday morning commute. So tonight it's quiet, it's just cold. Overnight lows will dip into the single digits for most of us, into the single numbers below 0 in northern Maine. We'll start tomorrow with some sun, and then it's during the middle of the day we might see a little bit of snow shower activity develop along the coast. It'd be very light, and it'd actually be ocean effect well ahead of the main storm system. That's going to form along this front tomorrow night and then take a track right into the middle of the state. And like so many storms this winter, that will mean a change to rain happens in southern and eastern Maine during the storm. But I think this one looks like either straight snow or straight rain. We shouldn't have much icing out of this, which is some good news. But it's a quick mover. As fast as it moves in, it moves out Wednesday afternoon, and then it's cold and very windy on the backside of the storm. So here's a closer look. 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, the bulk of the state is dry, but there may be a couple of snow showers developing. After the sun goes down tomorrow evening, lighter snow develops in southern and western Maine, still dry north and east. And then it's overnight that the snow starts to pick up in intensity, especially after midnight. That's when we get some heavier snow in here, mixing with rain near the coastline. But the morning commute looks really messy, with the heaviest snow falling during the commute in a lot of the state, especially just away from the coast. Then we'll move it out during the afternoon, but the temperatures drop. We'll go from the 30s into the 20s by midday in western Maine, and there may even be a late day snow squall as even colder air comes in for Thursday. So still expecting 2 to 4 inches for most of the coastline, changing over to rain. 4 to 8 inches for a lot of the interior from Lewiston, Augusta, Bangor north, and then the western mountains could see 8 up to 12 inches of snow. Really good news for the ski areas. So the next 7 show that behind the storm, it's all about the cold. Only 8 degrees inland on Thursday for the high, and probably only about 12 along the coast. And with the wind, it'll feel more like minus 15 to minus 25 during the day on Thursday. Very cold into Friday. Saturday looks a little better, and we'll start to warm things up by Super Bowl Sunday.
I mean, so cleanup's going to be hard because, like, the last storm we got, we were always looking to that 50-degree rainy day, and we don't have one of those coming up.
No, and on Wednesday the temperatures are going to fall during the day, so if you get any rain, it'll glaze right over after.
It's going to be very messy, very dangerous.
Hard to clean up, too. So great, thanks, Ryan.
You're welcome.
So glad to see
Good
you.
news.
How about something that's not awful? We'll talk some football. Our South for 6 team is going to begin with live coverage in Atlanta tomorrow night. We're a little fired up, and a lot of you have probably seen this video. Jets player Jamal Adams tackled Pat the Patriot. I mean, I'll say he assaulted him. One of the Pro Bowl practices over the week. Adams just coming out of nowhere with the big hit. Actually, ironically, first tackle he made all year.
Did he knock the wind out of him?
Well, Jets players don't usually tackle people. So there you go.
Reports are saying the mascot is still dealing with jaw, neck, and back soreness and was checked for a concussion. As of today, he was still planning on being in Atlanta for the Super Bowl.
All right, watch out, TB12. A gang of ferocious football players is ready to rough the passer. Check it out. These canine competitors hit the field yesterday for a tailgating event in Atlanta.
The defensive dogs bow-wowed the crowd, barking and biting their way to the end zone. When it was all said and done, the pups were pooped, and some even took a nap on the sidelines.
Look at that.
I know. The Puppy Bowl raises awareness and funds for furry friends looking for their forever homes. Oh,
not as cute as the puppies, but still important. It's our South for Six Super Bowl team. They're taking off for Atlanta tomorrow. It's Jess, it's Chris, it's Keith, it's Clay. Clay? What? They'll bring you wall-to-wall Patriots coverage, plus plenty of other stories from the Peach State. We are kind of fired up about that, except for Lindsay, who's going to miss her husband. That's okay.
Exactly.
We'll get you through it.
Single dog mom.
There you go.
It's all right. All right, a lot more news coming up on News Center Maine at 5:30. Cindy Williams is here with a preview. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys. After more than a year of arguing about high power bills from Central Maine Power, the legislature is being asked to basically throw out the two companies that run our power grid right now and turn it over to consumers. This proposal coming from Representative Seth Berry, he says it's really not that radical, and in fact, consumer-owned power companies are not new to Maine. We'll have that story coming up. Also, a fundraiser to find a cure for a rare disease that a little boy from Wells suffers from raised thousands of dollars today. People were flipping out over it. Those stories and more coming up at 5:30. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Cindy, so much. Stick with us. More News Center now when we come back. You're like, is it what's happening right now, or is it break?
We'll find out. It's her first day. Leave her alone.
I just have to say, I made the dog mom comment, and I really hope I don't offend anybody, because caring for dogs is so stressful. I don't know how all the single moms out. Well, because like people, I know that it's like a weird thing. People get upset sometimes when people compare dogs to children because.
Oh gosh, no. I've got them both, and they're equally hard.
With that awareness.
Hi. Can we
Yeah.
pop in?
Yes, of course.
Awesome. I'm going to have Corey join us.
Yeah. Hey, Corey, what's going on?
Hey. Okay, so I have a question.
There we go.
All right. I've been waiting to ask. It's my shot. Because the IRS didn't open until today.
Right.
So everybody who's been in line to file, and all of a sudden this morning woke up and we're like, phew. Like, will returns come back later than normal just because they're going to be getting so many at once that they have to catch up on, or?
That's a good question. We don't know. We knew they were going to pay refunds even with the shutdown going on. It sounds like they're going to have some catching up to do with non-regular tax season stuff. We do expect refunds to go out automated like they would normally, and we know that they did process millions of returns today. So
is she talking to me?
I was going to tell you something.
Oh,
if
yeah.
You have a moment.
Yeah.
No, somebody wrote in saying that the Free Me from Lung Cancer helps single-family low-income homeowners get access to radon abatement systems.
Oh, okay.
So she was writing about it.
Yeah.
It's your story.
Yeah. Thank you. You're
welcome.
Wait, Sarah, are you trying to reach me?
So thank you.
Sorry.
That was my question.
Sorry, guys.
I'm surprised the servers didn't crash today because so many people were waiting to hit that send button.
Yeah.
So
I also have another question too, if that's okay. Changes this year. There's been changes with the Trump administration, how it could affect our tax refunds. Are those anything to be too concerned about?
I think the big things really are the fact that this is the first tax filing season under the new tax law.
Yes,
And they actually opened a day sooner than they did last year for the filing. So they claim to be processing the returns as normal with the new law change.
So many people are going to file. We have like 20 seconds. Faster than usual, because what if they shut down again in 3 weeks?
Yeah,
like you've got your 3-week window now to guarantee you might get something back.
Sure. Corey, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Kim, thank you too.
Happy to be here.
Thanks for visiting. So in my ear, I think Sarah was telling me, "You're down in the studio," and I was like, "I'm down in the studio?"
Lots happening today, including our favorite animals. Oh, come on, look at the little deer.
They're struggling on the ice.
Somebody
I feel so
should
bad.
you should lay down some like animal-friendly salt or sand or something to help Bambi get home, will you?
Yeah. All right, what's up here? Bubble bath and clean.
Oh, and
you're
now
lucky
on the
if your
bed.
pup likes the bath.
Yeah, my animal's not so much. Look at the kitty though. Like, relax, will you?
I know. I'm not
What
even...
a stressful Monday for that cat to be sitting there.
Exactly.
So we're going to let you go, but we're not going to let you go to see New Center Maine at 5:30 until you get to see more puppies. So come on with that face.
Oh, my
All right.
gosh.
Guys, your day just got better. You're welcome. You're welcome. We'll see you tomorrow.
It sure did. Oh my gosh, we love our dogs in Maine, don't we? They're just the best. New Center Maine at 5:30 starts right now.
Good call, Isaac.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for asking your questions.
Yeah, good job, guys.
We'll
Good
see you back here
interaction.
tomorrow.
You guys are killing it.
Bye, guys.
Still can't hear me, I know, but it's cool.